Upamurtim Narayanam. Shri Krishna Lila Kitani Sridaksha Madhurya Madhurya Gunaishchayutam Varam Varanyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Sharashanamami Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Shri Keshava Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Vamana Iti Namine Gaura Bhava Mayo Deha Ujvala Rasa Bhavakaha Bhaktivedanta Vamano Raga Bhakti Pravartika Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashantya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Charya Simha Rupine Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Iti Namine Ati Martya Charichaya Swashitanam Chapaline Jiva Duke Sadarthaya Shri Nam Premadayine Gaurashraya Vigrahaya Krishna Kamaika Charine Rupanuga Pravaraya Vinodeti Swarupine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Morte Vipralamba Rasambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhaktivedodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Svarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Bhava Bhumes Tvam Nirdesta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavidanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surator Pangor Mama Manda Matiragati Matsarvasya Parambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpajumadaha Srimad Radnagara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshtalabhi Sevyamano Smarami Srimad Rasa Rasa Ramvi Vamsi Vatatastitaha Karshan Venus Vanir Gopir Gopinata Stiustunaha Vrindai Tulsi Devyai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavityai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhakta Kyam Namami Shakti Bhakti Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna hoite chatur mukha hoya Krishna sevan mukha Brahma hoite narade ramati Naradai hoite vyasa madhvakahi vyasa dasa Purna pragya padmanavagati Narhari Madhava Vamse Akshobhya Paramahamse Shishya Boli Ange Karakare Akshobhya Sishya Jaya Tirtaname Parichaya Taradase Yana Sindutare Tahoite Raya Nidhi Taradasa Vidya Nidhi Rajendra Hoilo Tahate Tahara Kinkara Jaya Tamaname Parichaya Parampara Janabalamate Jaya Dharma Rasi Kyati Shri Purushottama Jati Tahate Brahmanya Tirthasori Vyasate Tatara Dasa Lakshmi Pati Vyasa Dasa Tahate Madhavendra Pori Madhavendra Pori Varashisha Varashrisha Nityananda Shri Advaita Vivu Ishvara Purike Danya Korilenya Shri Chaitanya Jagadguru Gora Mahaprabhu Mahaprabhu Shri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya Rupanuga Jane Rajivana Vishwambara Priyankara Shri Swarupa Damodara Shri Goswami Rupa Sanatana Rupa Priya Mahajana Jira Raghunatha Tada Priya Kavi Krishna Dasa Krishna Dasa Priya Vara Narottama Seva Pada Jada Pada Vishwanatha Sa Vishwanatha Bhakta Sata Baladeva Jagannatha Tada Priya Shri Bhakti Vinoda Mahabhagavata Vara Shri Gara Kishora Vara Hari Bhajan Jadamo Shri Varsabhana Vivara Sara Sevya Seva Tara Daita Dasana Prabhupada Antaranga Shri Swarupa Rupanuga Shri Keshava Bhakti Pragyana Gauriya Vedanta Veta Maya Bharatamanta Gauravani Prachara Chadama Pracharilo Gauravani Bhakti Vedanta Swami Pandita Rupade Kama Keshavya Mahajana Nanarayana Savari dan godang gira nija jana Tagya uchiste modakana Jaya parampara guru parampara Parampara guru parampara Guru parampara guru parampara Page 36. Vrindavanavasi jatu Vaishnavera gana Pratame Vandana Kori Savara Charana Nilachalavasi Jato Mahaprabhurgana Umite Padiya Vando Savara Charana Navadvipavasi Jato Mahaprabhur Bhakta Savara Charana Vando Oya Anurakta Mahaprabhur Bhakta Jato Gora Deshe Sthiti Savara Charana Vando Koya Pranati Dedeshe Dedeshe Vaise Gaurangera Gana Urvava Gauri Vando Savara Charana Hoya Chena Hoi Bena Prabhajato Dasa Savara Charana Vando Tante Korigasa Brahmandata Ikti Shakti Dharidhanidhan Evera Parane Guna Gai Devasune Mahaprabhur Gana Sava Patita Pavana Toilo Vimoi Papiloino Sharana Vandana Karite Moi Karo Kakidori Kama Buri Doshe Moi Damba Machakori Tapapi Mokera Bhagya Manure Ulasa Dokshakshami Moadami Karani Jadasa Sarva Vanchi Siddhi Hoy Amba Bhanda Chute Jagate Dorlava Hoya Prema Dhana Lute Mane Ravasana Puna Achirate Hoya Devaki Nandana Dasa Elo Vikaya Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jai Vaishnavas. Page 200. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Doya Kori Swarpasara Sriya Dhamma Savatari Atyanta Dorlabha Prema Karibare Dana Shikaya Saranagati Pakatera Prana Dainya Atmani Vedana Gopchit Vevarana Avasya Rakshive Krishna Vishwasa Palana Bhakti Anukula Macha Kayera Svikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Bhajanangikara Saranga Saranagati Jaya Vairava Tahara Pradhana Sune Shinanda Kumara Rupa Sanatana Pade Tante Trina Kori Vakati Vinoda Pade Uparadori Kariya Kariya Ole Amito Adama Shikaye Saranagati Karahe Upama Jaya Sarpasara Jaya Gaurari Sarpasara Jaya Gaurari Jaya Rupa Sanatan, Jaya Rupa Sanatan, Rupa Sanatan, Jaya Rupa Sanatan, Jaya Rupa Sanatan, Jaya Rupa Sanatan, Rupa Sanatan, Jaya Rupa Sanatan. Jai Saranagati. '86. Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite na yane bavenira Arkavenita chande Karuna hoive samsara vasana mora kave tu chahave ishaya chariya kave shurahave mana kave Ravo Shri Vrindavana Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoive Akuti Hamabuja Se Jugala Piriti Rupa Raghunatha Pade Raho Morasa Partana Karoye Sara Narata Madasa Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaurahari Sachinandan Jaya Gaurahari Jaya Rupa Raghunath, Jaya Rupa Raghunath, Rupa Raghunath, Jaya Rupa Raghunath, Jaya Rupa Raghunath, Jaya Rupa Raghunath, Jaya Rupa Raghunath. Namami Nandanam. Page 289. Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sucharu Vakchamandalam, Sukhanarana Kundalam, Sucharitanga Chandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sudigane Chapankajam, Sikhi Sakandamodajam, Ananga Koti Mohanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sunasikara Swachandakam Kapankikam, Navambudanga Chekanam, Namami Nandanandanam. Tukula Pita Shovanam, Namami Sri Bangadera Adayarana Bhusanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sugandhanga Sarabhamuro Viraji Kostubam, Swarashrivatsalanchanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Vrindavana Sunagaram Vilasanugavasasam, Surendra Garva Mochanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Nalengana Sunayakam, Sadasukha Pradayakam, Jaganmana Pralobhadam, Namami Nandanandanam, Shri Nandanandanastakam Paterya Shadayandita, Hare Baba Vidustaram, Tarantaragimugakam, Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Namami. Page 285. Namami Nandanandanam, Munindra Vrindavandite, Triloka Shokaharini, Prasana Vakcha Pankaje, Nikunja Bhuvilasini, Vrajendra Bhanu Nandini, Vrajendra Suna Sangate, Kadakari Sasihamam, Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam, Ashoka Vriksha Vallari Vitanamanda Pastite, Valla Valla Pallava Pravarunangi Komale, Vadaya Swarachare Prabhuta Sambhalalaye, Kadakari Sasiyamam, Kipakataksha Vajanam, Anangaranga Mangala Prasanga Bangara Bhuvam, Savivrama Sasamrama, Diganta Vantanam, Nirantaram Vasikita Priti Nandanandane, Kadakari Sasiyama, Kripa Kadaksha Bhajanam, Tadit Suvarna Champaka Pradipta Goda Vigrahe, Mukha Prabha Parasta Koti Sararindu Mandale, Vichicha Chicha Shanchara Chakora Savalochane, Kadakari Sasiyamam, Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam, Madan Madatiyo Vane Pramadamana Mandite Priyanuraga Ranjite Kalavilasa Pandite Aranya Dananda Kunjaraja Kama Kaili Govide Kadakarisya Siyamam Kripa Katakshavajam Ashish Avabhavadira Ira Haravushite Prabhuta Sata Kumbha 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 Hustani Prasastamanda Hasya Chona Pona Sokya Sagare Kadakari Nala Valla Vallari Taranga Ranga Dorlate Latagra Lasya Lolani Lochana Valokani Lalalulan Malan Manogya Mugda Mohanashite Kadakari Sasi Kadakata Suvarna Malikanchita Chireka Kambu Kantage Chisucha Mangali Guna Chiradna Divti Diditi Salola Nila Kundala Prasana Gucha Kumpite Kadakiri Sasirama Kripa Katakshavadhanam Nityam Bhavimbalamba Mana Pushpa Mekalagune Kasastaratna Kinkeni Kalapa Maja Mandali Karendra Jana Dangite Katakshavadhanam Aneka Manchanara Manjunu Pararavaskalat Samaja Raja Hamsavan Nekvanati Gauravi Nilala Kadakarisya Sihama Pakatakshavadhanam Ananta Koti Vishnu Lokanamra Padmajarchite Himaji Japulo Maja Pirincha Dadara Prade Apara Siddhire Didikta Satpa Pangulina Ke Kadakari Sasihamam Kripa Katakshavadhanam Makeshwari Priyeshwari Siddheshwari Siddheshwari Shivera Bharatishwari Pramana Sasaneshwari Rameshwari Tarmeshwari Radhaneshwari Rajeshwari Shadarike Shirarike Namostute Iti Mamad Buddham Stavam Nishamya Bhanunandini Karotu Santa Jananam Kripa Katakshavadhanam Bhaveta Daiva Sanchita Chirupa Karmanasanam Bhaveta Ravarendra Sunamandala Bhavishanam Kadakari Sasiyama Kripa Katakshavadhanam Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Jaya Vrindavana Vilasini Radhe Radhe Vrindavana Vilasini Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Jaya Astasaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe Astasaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe Jaya Astasaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe Astasaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe Jaya Kanamana Mohini Radhe Radhe Kanamana Mohini Radhe Radhe Jaya Kanamana Mohini Radhe Radhe Mohini Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Krishna Mahabhav Swurupini Radharani Thakurani Ki Jai. How do you know?
You just set up the camera. You just lower it one. Lower. Yeah. Oh, what? Or we can do it after Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That's not a melody. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. So, I want to apologize to everybody in the men's ashram who I woke up because I thought Gurudev was giving class, but I'll be giving class. She was here this morning, but she has a dentist appointment. So, no, I'm sorry that I woke everybody up in the ashram.
Why would you not be happy about that?
Well, I'm saying because if you guys were coming to hear Gurudev speak,
Sleeping instead of hearing that he could talk from you? No, that's not good.
Hey, well, it's cool. They get to do sound check. Oh, well, I'm hearing it like 1 minute behind.
we're doing 5th canto, so
Harida sounds really good. I can hear the call and response. I'm kind of glad because I can adjust the volume.
I've been getting a lot of comments actually that the audio on the registers it's really new. The people,
Yeah, the interface was messed up. We got no interface.
okay, so are we on the live stream? Soon it is. So I'm sorry because figure out where we are in Bhagavatam. Don't have it saved. By the way, while you set up like the camera, I'll try to figure out where we are in Bhagavatam.
I'm sorry.
We're past the forest of enjoyment. I think we might be past the glories of the descendants of King Priyavrata. So I remember hearing Satyajit. Let's see. Descent of the river Ganges. This might be where we are. No, because wait, description of Jambudweep. We've definitely done the description of Jambudweep. I don't know if we've finished the description of Jambudweep. Oh yeah, definitely, because here it's about the different rivers. The rivers flow down from the top of this mountain. They supply milk. Well, hold on. This is actually different because there was the one where there's the milk there's the river. Oh right, here's the 5 rivers of honey, each about 5 vyamas wide. Okay, so we must be past the description of Jambudweep. Did we do the descent of the Ganges River?
No.
Okay, then that's I think where we are. Okay, so Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravrajantam Anupetam Apecha Krityam Dvaipayino Virahaka Taruvajuhava Putreti tanmayataya tarvo benedus tam sarvam bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi bhaktya vihina aparadha lakshay chiptaschekamaritarangamadye kripa maitvam sharanam prapana Priyande numaste charanara vindam Te voivasmi Najiva mitfayam vina Iti vigyaya radhe Tvam nayamam charanantike Namo Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Prishtaya Bhutare Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Vana Iti Namane. I offer my humble, as humble as I can be, obeisances unto my Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Van Goswami Maharaj, to my Shiksha Guru Pujaniya Srimati Shamrani Didi, to their gurus, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and to all the, and Srila Bhakti Vikram Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, and to all of our Rupanuga Guru Varga, to Sri Sukadev Goswami who spoke this Srimad Bhagavatam, and to all the assembled devotees, thank you. So, we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam, the ripened fruit of the Vedic literatures. And we've been going through a tour of the fifth canto, or we've been going through the fifth canto, which is a tour, bit of our world, bit of King Bharat Maharaja's world. And now we are here at the descent of the river Ganges. We were hearing about Jambudweep, which is the land where we live, where we reside, which I have so many questions about, and how it's so different than what we hear from our present-day educators, well, societal educators. What's really cool is how it's kind of like a donut-shaped, and there's a giant upside-down mountain, or a very, very large ice cream cone going through the center of it, called Mount Sumeru. And there are Sumeru, thank you. And so the spiritual view is very different from ours. And Gurudev has also emphasized, why are we hearing about these things? Shouldn't we just be hearing Radha, Krishna, gopis, kunjas? And she said, well, who's speaking this Bhagavatam? She reminds us it's being spoken by Shukadev Goswami. And who is Shukadev Goswami? In the spiritual world, he is Radharani's parrot. So, and who is hearing it? Maharaj Pariksit. And who is he in the spiritual world? He is Manjari. So that's the benefit, as we are here, as my understanding, the benefit is we're hearing from pure devotees in the kunjas. So there must be benefit to it. Also, we hear in the third verse of the Bhagavatam how it is full of ras. And those who are rasik and bhavaka, those who are expert in tasting the transcendental mellows of devotional service, they are constantly drinking ras from this Bhagavatam. So we are at chapter 17, canto 5, Descent of the River Ganges. So if you don't mind, I'll read the overview of it from Srila Prabhupada. So the 17th chapter describes the origin of the Ganges River and how it flows in and around Ilavrita Varsha, which we just heard about, I think, in the last chapter. Let me just see if there's something right here. Okay, I'm not seeing anything about Ilavrita Varsha. So there is also a description of the prayers Lord Shiva offers to Lord Shankarshan, who is part of the quadruple expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Vishnu once approached Bali Maharaj while the king was performing a sacrifice, King Bali. The Lord appeared before him as Trivikram, or Vamana, and begged alms from the king in the form of 3 steps of land. With 2 steps, Lord Vaman covered all 3 planetary systems and pierced the covering of the universe with the toes of his left lotus foot. A few drops of water from the causal ocean leaked through this hole and fell on the head of Lord Shiva, where they remain for 1,000 millenniums. These drops of water are the sacred Ganges River. It first flows into the heavenly planets, which are located on the soles of Lord Vishnu's feet. The Ganges River is known by many names, such as the Bhagirati and the Jahanavi. It purifies Dhruvalok and the planets of the 7 sages because both Dhruva and the sages have no other desire than to serve the Lord's lotus feet. The Ganges River. Does everybody here know who Dhruva? By the way, Dhruva Maharaj. We heard in the 4th canto how he was a very resolute and determined Kshatriya. He was a young boy, 5 years old, and he performed extremely intense austerities in order to get a kingdom more glorious than his grandfather's, who was Brahma. And he was literally only breathing air like once or twice a month, when finally it was affecting the whole rhythmic cycles of the entire cosmos, and the Lord appeared before him. The Lord himself, Lord Narayan, appeared before him, and Dhruva then prays, "My Lord, I was searching after a piece of broken glass." He was going for the highest opulence, is so much more opulent than Lord Brahma, ownership of the whole, a greater kingdom than this cosmic planetary system. And he said, now that I see you, I can understand I was just searching for a piece of broken glass, you who are difficult for even the greatest demigods and kings to attain. And now that I have you, there's no other benediction that I want. Still, because the Lord is very merciful, he chose to fulfill, even though Dhruva no longer had the desire for that kingdom, he chose to fulfill it anyway, and the North Star is Dhruvalok. It does not get devastated during all the sub-devastations, but during the end of Brahma's lifetime, it does get destroyed. So, that's Dhruva. So Dhruva is a pure devotee and has no desire other than to serve the Lord's lotus feet. The Ganges River, emanating from the lotus feet of the Lord, inundates the heavenly planets, especially the moon, and then flows through Brahmapuri atop Mount Meru. Here the river divides into 4 branches known as Sita, Alakananda, Chakshu, and Bhadra, which then flow down to the ocean of salt water. The branch known as Sita flows through Shekhara Parvata and Gandhamadana Parvat, and then flows down to Bhadrashva Varsha, where it mixes with the ocean of salt water in the west. The Chakshu branch flows through Malyavangiri, and after reaching Ketumala Varsh, mixes with the ocean of salt water in the west. The branch known as Bhadra flows into Mount Meru, so this is more about the branches of the waters flowing from the Ganges River and how they eventually reach the salt ocean. So it says, the tract of land known as Bharat Varsh, which is India, is a field of activities, and the other 8 Varshas are for persons who are meant to enjoy heavenly comfort. And each of these 8 beautiful providences, the celestial denizens, enjoy various standards of material comfort and pleasure. So we're going to hear a little bit about the different planetary systems, the different lands around our own planetary system, our own planet. That was cool. Okay. So, we hear some interesting things about Shiva and his wife too. So, text 1, Canto 5, Chapter 17, Shukadev Goswami said, by the way, if there's anything that needs clarification, just ask me. Thanks. So Shukadev Goswami said, "My dear king, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, appeared as Vamandev in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. Then he extended his left foot to the end of the universe and pierced a hole in its covering with the nail of his big toe. Through the hole, the pure water of the causal ocean entered this universe as the Ganges River. Having washed the lotus feet of the Lord, which are covered with reddish powder, the water of the Ganges acquired a very beautiful pink color. Every living being can immediately purify his mind of material contamination by touching the transcendental water of the Ganges. Yet its waters remain ever pure. Because the Ganges directly touches the lotus feet of the Lord before descending within the universe, she is known as Vishnu Padi. Later, Vishnu Padi means she's at the feet of Lord Vishnu. Later, she received other names like Jahnavi. Let me see if that word, just to get the exact translation. Yeah, the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Later, she received other names like Jahnavi and Bhagirati. After 1,000 millenniums, the water of the Ganges descended into Dhruvalok, the topmost planet in this universe. Therefore, all learned sages and scholars proclaim Dhruvalok to be Vishnupada, situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. Dhruva Maharaj, the famous son of Maharaj Uttanapada, is known as the most exalted devotee of the Supreme Lord because of his firm determination in executing devotional service. Knowing that the sacred Ganges water washes the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, Dhruva Maharaj, situated on his own planet, to this very day accepts that water on his head with great devotion. Because he constantly thinks of Krishna with very devoutly within the core of his heart, Sri Dhruva Maharaj is overcome with ecstatic anxiety. Tears flow from his half-open eyes, and eruptions appear on his entire body. The 7 great sages, Marichi, Vashishta, Atri, and so on, reside on the planets beneath Dhruvalok. Well aware of the influence of the water of the Ganges, to this day they keep Ganges water on the tufts of their hair on their heads. They have concluded that this is the ultimate wealth, the perfection of all austerities, and the best means of prosecuting transcendental life. Having obtained uninterrupted devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they neglect all other beneficial possessions like religion, economic development, other beneficial processes like religion, economic development, sense gratification, and even merging into the Supreme. Just as Jnanis think that merging into the existence of the Lord is the highest truth, these 7 exalted personalities accept devotional service as the perfection of life. After purifying the 7 planets near Dhruvalok, the pole star, the Ganges water is carried throughout the spaceways of the demigods in billions of celestial airplanes. Then it inundates the moon, Chandralok, and finally reaches Lord Brahma's abode atop Mount Meru. On top of Mount Meru, the Ganges divides into 4 branches, and Mount Meru is that ice cream cone mountain that goes to the center of Jambudweep. Each of which on top of Mount Meru, the Ganges divides into 4 branches, each of which gushes in a different direction, east, west, north, and south. These branches, known by the names Sita, Alakananda, Chakshu, and Bhadra, flow down to the ocean. The branches of the Ganges, known as the Sita, flows through Brahmapuri atop Mount Meru, and from there runs down to the nearby peaks of Kesarchala Mountains, which stand almost as high as Mount Meru itself. These mountains are like a bunch of filaments around Mount Meru. From the Kesarchala Mountains, the Ganges falls to the peak of the Gandhamadana mountain and then flows into the land of Bhadrashvara Varsha. Finally, it reaches the ocean of salt water in the west. The branch of the Ganges, known as Chakshu, falls onto the summit of Malyavan mountain and from there cascades unto the land of Ketumala-Varsha. The Ganges flows incessantly through Ketumala-Varsha and in this way also reaches the ocean of salt water in the west. The branch of the Ganges known as Bhadra flows from the northern side of Mount Meru. Its waters fall onto the peaks of Kumuda Mountain, Mount Nila, Sveta Mountain, and Shungavan Mountain in succession. Then it runs down into the province of Kuru, and after crossing through that land, flows into the saltwater ocean in the north. Similarly, the branch of the Ganges known as Alakananda flows from the southern side of Brahmapuri, Brahmasadana. Passing over the tops of mountains in various lands, it falls down with fierce force onto the peaks of the mountain Hemakutu and Himakuta. After inundating the tops of those mountains, the Ganges falls down onto the tract of land known as Bharatvarsha, which he also inundates. So this is how it reaches India. Then the Ganges flows into the ocean of salt water in the south. Persons who come to bathe in this river are fortunate. It is not very difficult for them to achieve with every step the results of performing great sacrifices like the Rajasuja and Ashvamedha yagnas. Wow. So people who bathe in the Ganges, the Rajasuya sacrifice is like the horse sacrifice which Yudhishthira Maharaj, who's one of the 5 Pandavas, he performed in order to become, I think that was what he declared, be able to be declared as the king of the earth. And the Ashvamedha sacrifices are other horse sacrifices. And let's see what Prabhupada says. But it's cool, because I've also heard that although it's a sacrifice where they're killing an animal, the Brahmanas, when they kill the animal, they're actually doing it to test the efficacy, how good their mantras are. Because if they can say their mantras well enough, the animal comes back to life afterwards.
It's an old one too. It's at the end of its life anyway.
Oh, and it's at the end of its life anyway.
So it's giving it a fresh body.
And so it's given a fresh body. Many other rivers, both big and small, flow from the top of Mount Meru. These rivers are like daughters of the mountain, and they flow to the various tracts of land in hundreds of branches. Among the 9 Varshas, the tract of land known as Bharat Varsha is understood to be the field of fruitive activities. Learned scholars and saintly persons declare the other 8 Varshas to be meant for very highly elevated pious persons. After returning from the heavenly planets, they enjoy the remaining results of their pious activities in these 8 earthly Varshas. Interesting. So, you want to hear the purport? So, the heavenly planets of enjoyment are divided into 3 groups: the celestial heavenly planets on earth, and the Bila heavenly planets, which are found in the lower regions. So there's the subterranean lower planets, or the lower region heavenly planets. Among these 3 classes of heavenly planets, the heavenly planets on earth are the 8 Varshas other than Bharat Varsha. So in Bhagavad Gita 9:21, Krishna says, Shine punye martya lokam vishnati. When the persons living in the heavenly planets exhaust the results of their pious activities, they return to this earth. In this way, they are elevated to the heavenly planets, and they again fall down to the earthly planets. This process is known as Brahmanda Brahmana, wandering up and down throughout the universes. Those who are intelligent, in other words, those who have not lost their intelligence, do not involve themselves in this process of wandering up and down. They take to the devotional service of the Lord so they can ultimately penetrate the covering of this universe and enter into the spiritual kingdom. Then they are situated on one of the planets known as Vaikuntha Lok, or still higher, Krishna Lok, Golok Vrindavan. A devotee is never caught in the process of being promoted to the heavenly planets and again coming down. So, therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, E rupe brahmanda brahmite kona bhagavan jiva, e guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. Among all the living entities wandering throughout the universe, one who is most fortunate comes in contact with a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus gets the opportunity to execute devotional service. Those who are sincerely seeking the favor of Krishna may come in contact with a bona fide representative of Krishna. Mayavadis indulging in mental speculation and the karmis desiring the result of their actions cannot become gurus. A guru must be a direct representative of Krishna who distributes the instructions of Krishna without any change. Thus, only the most fortunate persons come in contact with the Guru. So the next verse, in these 8 varshas, or tracts of land, human beings live 10,000 years according to earthly calculations. All the inhabitants are almost like demigods. They have the bodily strength of 10,000 elephants. Indeed, their bodies are as sturdy as thunderbolts. The youthful duration of their lives is very pleasing, and both men and women enjoy union with great pleasure for a long time. After years of sensual pleasure, when a balance of 1 year of life remains, the wife conceives a child. Thus, the standard of pleasure for the residents of those heavenly regions is exactly like that of the human beings who lived during the Treta Yuga.
It's like a mayfly. They like live and then they make a child and then they die.
Yeah. For anybody on the live stream, Sankirtan was saying that it's like a mayfly. They live, they have a child, and then they die. In each of those tracts of land, there are many gardens filled with flowers and fruits according to the season, and there are beautifully decorated hermitages as well. Between the great mountains, demarcating the borders of those lands, lie enormous lakes of clear water filled with newly grown lotus flowers. Aquatic birds such as swans, ducks, water chickens, and cranes become greatly excited by the fragrance of lotus flowers, and the charming sound of bumblebees fills the air. The inhabitants of those lands are important leaders among the demigods. Always attended by their respective servants, they enjoy life in gardens alongside the lakes. In this pleasing situation, the wives of the demigods smile playfully at their husbands and look upon them with lusty desires. All the demigods and their wives are constantly supplied with the sandalwood pulp and flower garlands by their servants. In this way, all the residents of the 8 heavenly varshas enjoy, attracted by the activities of the opposite sex. To show mercy to his devotees, I'm trying to hear, like, this all sounds like so heavenly. So then, I want to hear now about why, oh, you know what? I'm like, why are we then aiming for, we hear devotional service, not to enjoy. But what I recall is that this is a step-by-step progression. It's kind of like we can't understand the Krishna's power and how powerful and how great he is without understanding how powerful and great Nishringa is, how powerful and great Lord Vamandev is. Similarly, I can't understand how amazing and incredible Vrindavan is, where all the trees, they sprout gems, and all the cows are wish-fulfilling desire cows, and how the beautiful damsels, they wear chintamani, wish-fulfilling stones on their, just as their garments, only because it makes Krishna happy, not because it's like they're so valuable. That might be wrong. That's not wrong, but anyway, it might not be the reason why. Anyway, so by understanding, like, wow, here's the heavenly planets, here's the heavenly enjoyments, then it's so much greater to understand the enjoyments of Vrindavan.
And that's also temporary.
And it's temporary. To show mercy to his devotees in each of these 9 tracts of land, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Narayan, expands himself in his quadruple principles of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. In this way, he remains near his devotees to accept their service. That's nice. Shukadev Goswami said, in the tract of land known as Ilavrita Varsh, the only male person is Shiva, is Lord Shiva, the most powerful demigod. Goddess Durga, the wife of Shiva, does not like any man to enter that land. If any foolish man dares to do so, she immediately turns him into a woman. I shall explain this later in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In Ilavrita Varsha, Lord Shiva is always encircled by 10 billion maidservants of Goddess Durga who minister to him. The quadruple expansion of the Supreme Lord is composed of Vasudev, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshan. Whoa, she has more maidservants there than there are people currently alive on this earth.
How many is it?
10 billion.
Wow. We're getting there, though.
Who all minister to Lord Shiva.
We're getting to 10 billion.
And one day, all 10 billion will be Krishna conscious. Sankarshan, the fourth expansion, is certainly transcendental, but because his activities of destruction in the material world are in the mode of ignorance, he is known as Tamasi, the Lord's form in the mode of ignorance. Lord Shiva knows that Sankarshan is the original cause of his own existence, and thus he always meditates upon him in trance by chanting the following mantras. That's cool. Let's see, is it Om Namo? Oh, it is. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahapurushaya Sarvaguna Sankadyanai Anantya Yavyakatya Nama Iti. Yeah, it's a Sankhya Anya Anantaya Vyaktaya Namaha. So the Sarvaguna, so all the modes of Lord Sankarshan and the endless. Okay, I'm just going to read it. The most powerful Lord Shiva says, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. On your expansion as Lord Sankarshan. You are the reservoir of all transcendental qualities, Sarva Guna. Although you are limited, you remain unmanifested to the non-devotees. O my Lord, you are the only worshipful person, for you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all opulences. Your secure lotus feet are the only source of protection for all your devotees, whom you satisfy by manifesting yourself in various forms. O my Lord, you deliver your devotees from the clutches of material existence. Non-devotees, however, remain entangled in material existence by your will, like me, hearing after about the heavenly planets. Kindly accept me as your eternal servant. We cannot control the force of our anger. Therefore, when we look at material things, we cannot avoid feeling attraction or repulsion for them. But the Supreme Lord is never affected in this way. Although he glances over the material world for the purpose of creating, maintaining, and destroying it, he is not affected, even by the slightest degree. Therefore, one who desires to conquer the force of the senses must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Then he will be victorious. For persons with impure vision, the Supreme Lord's eyes appear like those of someone who indiscriminately drinks intoxicating beverages. Thus bewildered, such an unintelligent person becomes angry at the Supreme Lord, and due to their angry mood, the Lord himself appears angry and very fearful. People with impure vision, they think that they see the Lord's eyes and think that he looks like a person who's intoxicated. And so, thus bewildered, these intelligent persons, they become angry at the Supreme Lord. And due to their angry mood, the Lord himself appears angry and very fearful. However, this is an illusion. When the wives of the serpent demon were agitated by the touch of the Lord's lotus feet, due to shyness, they could proceed no further in their worship of him. Yet the Lord remained unagitated by their touch, for he is equiposed in all circumstances. Therefore, who will not worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead? I wonder if this is about Kaliya.
What does it say in Sanskrit?
Nagavadva, the wives of the serpent demon. Let's see. Nope, nothing about it in the purport. Lord Shiva continued, all the great sages accept the Lord as the source of creation, maintenance, and destruction, although he actually has nothing to do with these activities. Therefore, the Lord is called unlimited. Although the Lord, in his incarnation as Shesha, holds all the universes on his hoods, each universe feels no heavier than a mustard seed to him. Therefore, what person desiring perfection would not worship the Lord?
Question. Does it say Babru?
Babru?
Yeah. Isn't it the one who holds the world that has a mustard seed on his head?
Let's see. Siddha artam is the mustard seed. Yammahorasya stiti janma samyamanam. It's not the right melody. No, Babaru.
Just curious.
No problem. Lord Shiva continued, all the great sages accept the Lord as the source of creation, maintenance, and destruction. Okay, just did that one. Therefore, what person desiring perfection would not worship the Lord? From that supreme personality of Godhead appears Lord Brahma, whose body is made from the total material energy, the reservoir of intelligence predominated by the passionate mode of material nature. From Lord Brahma, I myself, Shiva, am born as a representation of the false ego known as Rudra. By my own power, I create all the other demigods, the 5 elements and the senses. Therefore, I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than any of us and under whose control are situated all the demigods, material elements, and senses. And even Lord Brahma and I myself, like birds bound by a rope. Only by the Lord's grace can we create, maintain, and annihilate the material world. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Being. The illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead binds all of us conditioned souls to this material world. Therefore, without being favored by him, persons like us cannot understand how to get out of that illusory energy. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is the cause of creation and annihilation. Oh, cool. And I just was learning this verse, Bhagavad Gita 7:14, which is in the purport. Daivi Hiesha. I wonder if Kunj Bihari Prabhu is watching. Let's see. And I'm not going to say it, and we had like a really funny way of learning the Sanskrit. Because Mamma Maya. I shouldn't be joking too much in live stream. So Bhagavad Gita 7:14. Actually, I will, because it's a nice way to learn verses is by having fun with it. So it's like, it's a mnemonic. This is the second line. Daivihi Esha, I got a Gunamai, Mamma Maya, Durat, Kataya, Mayam, Mam Eva, Ye, Prapadyante, Mayam Etam Tadrantite, which means, Krishna is saying, this divine energy of mine is very difficult to, which is manifested from the 3 modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. But one who takes shelter of, is surrendered unto me, easily crosses beyond it. We also do a lot of hand motions with it, to remember. So what Prabhupada says is that all conditioned souls are working within the illusory energy of the Lord. All conditioned souls working within the energy of the Lord consider the body to be the self, and thus they continuously wander throughout the universe, taking birth in different species of life and creating more and more problems. Sometimes they become disgusted with the problems and seek out a process for which they can get out of entanglement. Unfortunately, such so-called research workers are unaware of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his illusory energy, and thus all of them work only in darkness, never finding a way out. So-called scientists and advanced research scholars are ludicrously trying to find the cause of life. They take no notice of the fact that life is already being produced. What will be their credit if they find out the chemical composition of life? All their chemicals are nothing but different transformation of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 2:20, the living being entity is never created. Na jayate mrityate va kadachin. There are 5 gross material elements and 3 minor material elements: mind, intelligence, and false ego. And there are eternal living entities. The living entity desires a certain type of body, and by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that body is created from material nature, which is nothing but a kind of machine handled by the Supreme Lord. Anybody know that verse from the Gita? Jai. Which says that the Supreme Lord, Krishna says, I, as the super soul, am situated in the hearts of all living entities, and who are wandering, and direct all their wanderings. They are situated in the heart as those situated on a machine made of the material energy. The living entity must work with it. The living entity is seated on a machine, the body, and according to the order of the Supreme Lord, he operates the machine. This is the secret of transmigration of the soul from one body to another. The living entity thus becomes entangled in fruitive activities in this material world, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Mana sahastan indriyani prakriti stani karshati. The living entity is struggling very hard against the 6 senses, which include the mind. In all the activities of creation and annihilation, the living entity is entangled in fruitive activities which are executed by the illusory energy Maya. He is exactly like a computer handled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whoa. The so-called scientists say that nature acts independently, but they cannot not explain what nature is. Nature is nothing but a machine, operated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one understands the operator, his problems of life are solved. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, Bahunam janmanam ante gyanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam miti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. A sane man, therefore, surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus gets out of the clutches of the illusory energy, Maya. Haribo! Let's get out! Oh. And so now, feels like a great answer to what I was saying about the heavenly planets, and exactly what Sankirtan Prabhu was saying. It's temporary, and it's entangling. So who cares? We hear about this benefit, that benefit. It's temporary and entangling, whereas by surrendering unto the Supreme Lord and his pure devotee, we can get out for once and for all and enjoy forever. Okay, so 9:26, class time basically over. Does anybody have, is there any questions about the reading that maybe I could go through the purport to find? Okay.
What's the name of this chapter?
This one is The Descent of the River Ganges.
What's the name of the next one?
Prayers offered to the Lord by the residents of Jambudweep. Okay, can do a couple minute kirtan. Is the offering looks like it's going. Oh, the offering is, okay, then I guess we'll just do the next. Right, next chapter. The prayers offered to the Lord by the residents of Jambudweep. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, Bhadra Shrava, the son of Dharmaraj, rules the tract of land known as Bhadrashva Varsha. Just as Lord Shiva worships Shankarshan in Ilabrita Varsha, Bhadrashrava, accompanied by his intimate servants and all the residents of the land, worships the planetary expansion of Vasudev known as Hiyashirsha. Lord Hiyashirsha is very dear to devotees, and he is the director of all religious principles. Fixed in the topmost trance, Bhadrashava and his associates offer their respectful obeisances unto the Lord and chant the following prayers with careful pronunciation. Om Namo Bhagavate Dharmayatma Vishodhanaya Nama Iti. The ruler Bhadrashava and his intimate associates utter the following prayer. We offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all religious principles, who cleanses the heart of the conditioned soul in this material world. Again and again we offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Alas, how wonderful is it that the foolish materialist does not heed the great danger of impending death. He knows that death will surely come, yet he is nevertheless callous and neglectful. If his father dies, he wants to enjoy his father's property. And if his son dies, he wants to enjoy his son's possessions as well. In either case, he heedlessly tries to enjoy material happiness with the acquired money. Truth hurts. O unborn one, learned Vedic scholars who are advanced in spiritual knowledge certainly know that this material world is perishable, as do other logicians and philosophers. In trance, they realize the factual position of this world, and they preach the truth as well. Yet even they are sometimes bewildered by your illusory energy. This is your own wonderful pastime. Therefore, I can understand that your illusory energy is very wonderful, and I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. O Lord, although you are completely detached from creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world, and are not directly affected by these activities, they are all attributed to you. We do not wonder at this, for your inconceivable energies perfectly qualify you to be the cause of all causes. You are the active principle in everything, although you are separate from everything. Thus we can realize that everything is happening because of your inconceivable energy. At the end of the millennium, ignorance personified assumes the form of a demon. At the end of the millennium, ignorance personified assumed the form of a demon, stole all the Vedas, and took them down to the planet of Ritsalau. I guess we're going to hear about Matsya. The Supreme Lord, however, in his form of Hayagriva, retrieved the Vedas and returned them to Lord Brahma when he begged for them. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, whose determination never fails. Oh, Lord Hayagriva or Lord Matsya always protects the Vedic knowledge. That's from the purport. Sri Shukadev Goswami continued, My dear king, Lord Nrsingadev resides in the tract of land known as Harivarsha. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord to assume the form of Nrsingadev. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all good qualities of the great personalities. His character and activities had delivered all the fallen members of his demoniac family. Lord Nrsingadev is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the Desyans of Harivarsh, worship Lord Nrsinga by chanting the following mantras. And so we also hear from Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, that it's important for us, if we aspire, and we want to hear the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, but first we must learn to be like Prahlad and Dhruva. So I offer my respectful obeisances. So these are the residents of that planet praying to Lord Nrsinga. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsingadev, the source of all power. Oh, is this the Nrsinga Kavacha? Probably not. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruit of activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Reminds me of yesterday's conversation of when we do our sevas, we always think about the next person who will do the seva. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Shri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thoughts of Him.
This is in this verse.
Nrsinga Kavacha is in the Brahmanda Purana.
Is this?
It's not there.
Oh, it's on Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay.
This is in this verse.
That last one?
Yeah. I just need probably
Svatsya astu. This one sounds like Svatsya astu vishvasya kalaprasidatam. Okay. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attracted for the prison of family life, consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees, whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness. whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult. And of course, as I'm reading, I'm like, yeah, people who are too attached, they find advancement difficult. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm probably more attached than I realized. Probably finding advancement very difficult. It is difficult. By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, is the all in all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing of them, one immediately associates with the Lord. For a person who constantly and very eagerly hears narrations of the Lord's powerful activities, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, in the form of sound vibration, enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contaminations and infections, this process and the process of visiting holy places can cleanse the heart only after a long time. So bathing in the Ganges and visiting holy places, not including Vrindavan and Navadvip, only cleanse the heart over a long period of time, whereas hearing about the activities of the Lord cleanses it immediately. Therefore, who is the sane man who will not associate with the devotees and quickly perfect his life? Jai. All the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifested in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Okay, so this is given another good reason to not be trying to go to like heavenly planets where there's rivers of honey and all sorts of delights. Instead, all the demigods and their exalted qualities become manifest at once in the body of one who has attained unalloyed devotion for the Lord. On the other hand, a person who is devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Whoa. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculation and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities of such a man? I've definitely heard that one before too. Just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculation fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Whoa, I gotta remember that. That one who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. That kind of stinks, because then it's like you could try really hard to develop good spiritual qualities, but if you get too attached to your material life, you'll lose them all. Therefore, O demons, give up the so-called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nrsingadev. I wonder how many lifetimes ago somebody yelled that at me. Which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Entanglement in family life is the root cause of material enjoyment. Indefatigable desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear, and the desire for false prestige, all of which result in the repetition of birth and death. Shukadev Goswami continued, in the tract of land called Ketumala Varsha, Lord Vishnu lives in the form of Kamadev only for the satisfaction of his devotees. These include Lakshmiji, the goddess of fortune, the Prajapatni Samvatsara, and all the Samvatsara's sons and daughters. The daughters of Prajapati are considered the controlling deities of the nights, and his sons are considered the controllers of the days. The Prajapati's offspring number 36,000, one for each day and night in the lifetime of the human being. At the end of each year, the Prajapati's daughters become very agitated upon seeing the extremely effulgent disk of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus they all suffer miscarriages. Wow. In the Ketumala Varsh, Lord Kamadev, Pradyumna, moves very graciously. His mild smile is very beautiful, and when he increases the beauty of his face by slightly raising his eyebrows and glancing playfully, he pleases the goddess of fortune. Thus he enjoys his transcendental senses. Accompanied during the daytime by the sons of Prajapati, the predominating deities of the days, and accompanied at night by his daughters, the deities of the nights, Lakshmi Devi worships the Lord during the period known as the Samvatsara in his most merciful form as Kamadev. Fully absorbed in devotional service, she chants the following mantras. So these are the prayers of Lakshmi Devi. Let me offer my respectful obeisance. I wonder if she says Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya too. Nope. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishikesh, the controller of all my senses and the origin of everything. As the supreme master of all bodily, mental, and intellectual activities, he is the only enjoyer of their results. The 5 sense objects and 11 senses, including the mind, are his partial manifestations. He supplies all the necessities of life, which are his energy and thus non-different from him, and he is the cause of everyone's bodily and mental prowess, which is also non-different from him. Indeed, he is the husband and provider of necessities for all living entities. The purpose of all the Vedas is to worship him. Therefore, let us offer him our respectful obeisances. May he always be favorable toward us in this life and in the next. My dear Lord, you are certainly the fully independent master of all the senses. Therefore, all women who worship you by strictly observing vows because they wish to acquire a husband to satisfy their senses are surely under illusion. They do not know that such a husband cannot actually give protection to them or their children, nor can he protect their wealth or duration of life, for he himself is dependent on time, fruit of results, and the modes of nature, which are all subordinate to you. Wow, Lakshmi Ji laying it heavy too. He alone, who is never afraid, but who, on the contrary, gives complete shelter to all fearful persons, can actually become a husband and protector. Therefore, my Lord, you are the only husband. Boom. And no one else can claim this position. If you were not the only husband, you would be afraid of others. Therefore, persons learned in all Vedic literature accept only your lordship as everyone's master, and they think no one else a better husband and protector than you. My dear Lord, you automatically fulfill all the desires of a woman who worships your lotus feet in pure love. However, if a woman worships your lotus feet for a particular purpose, you also quickly fulfill her desires, but in the end she becomes broken-hearted and laments. Therefore, one need not worship your lotus feet for some material benefit. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in the thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. This is Lakshmi Ji speaking. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. O infallible one, your lotus palm is the source of all benediction. Therefore your pure devotees worship it, and you very mercifully place your hand on their heads. I wish that you may also place your hand on my head, for although you already bear my insignia of golden streaks on your chest, the Shrivats, I regard this honor as merely a kind of false prestige for me. You show your real mercy to your devotees, not to me. Of course, you are the supreme absolute controller, and no one can understand your motives. Just humble. Shukdev Goswami continued. Okay, and so that seems like that is the end of the prayers of Lakshmi Devi, Lakshmi Ji. So Shukadev Goswami continued in Ramyaka Varsha, where Vaivatsya Muni ruled, Vaivasvata Manu. This rules, the Supreme Person of Godhead appeared as Lord Matsya at the end of the last era, Chakshusha Manvatara. Vaivasvata Manu now worships Lord Matsya in pure devotional service and chants the following mantras. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is pure transcendence. He is the origin of all life, bodily strength, mental power, and sensory ability. Known as Matsyavatara, the gigantic fish incarnation, he appears first among all the incarnations. Again, I offer my obeisances unto him. My dear Lord, just as a puppeteer controls his dancing dolls and a husband controls his wife, your lordship controls all the living entities in the universe. such as the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Although you are in everyone's heart as the supremeness and commander, and are outside everyone as well, the so-called leaders of societies, communities, and countries cannot realize you. Only those who hear the vibration of the Vedic mantras can appreciate you. My Lord, from the great leaders of the universe, such as Lord Brahma and other demigods, down to the political leaders of this world, all are envious of your authority. Without your help, however, they could neither separately nor concertedly maintain the innumerable living entities within the universe. You are actually the only maintainer of all human beings, of animals like cows and asses, and of plants, reptiles, birds, mountains, and whatever else is visible within the material world. O Almighty Lord, at the end of the millennium, this planet Earth, which is the source of all kinds of herbs, drugs, and trees, was inundated by water and drowned beneath devastating waves. At that time, you protected me along with the earth and roamed the sea with great speed. O unborn one, you are the actual maintainer of the entire universal creation, and therefore you are the cause of all living entities. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Shukadev Goswami continued. Let's see. This might be a good place to say pause. No, I think this is the last bits of prayers. Okay, we'll finish this up. So, Shukadev Goswami continued, in Hiranmaya Varsha, the Supreme Lord Vishnu lies in the form of a tortoise, Kurmasha Sharira. This most dear and beautiful form is always worshipped there in devotional service by Aryama, the chief residents of the Hiranmaya Varsha, along with other inhabitants of that land. They chant the following hymns. Om Namo Bhagavate Aku Paraya Sarva Sattva Guna Viveshanaya Yanu Palakshita Stanaya Namo Varshmane Namo Bhume Namo Namo Vastanaya Namaste. O my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who have assumed the form of a tortoise. You are the reservoir of all transcendental qualities, and being untinged by matter, you are perfectly situated in pure goodness. You move here and there in the water, but no one can discern your position. Therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Because of your transcendental position, you are not limited by past, present, and future. You are present everywhere as the shelter of all things, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. My dear Lord, this visible cosmic manifestation is a demonstration of your own creative energy. Since the countless varieties of forms within this cosmic manifestation are simply a display of your external energy, this Virat Rup, universal body, is not your real form. Except for a devotee in transcendental consciousness, no one can perceive your actual form. Therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. My dear Lord, you manifest your different energies in countless forms, as living entities born from wombs, from eggs, and from perspiration, as plants and trees that grow out of the earth, as all living entities both moving and standing, including the demigods, the learned sages and the pittas, as outer space, as the higher planetary system containing the heavenly planets, and as the planet Earth with its hills, rivers, seas, oceans, and islands. Indeed, all the stars and planets are simply manifestations of your different energies. But originally, you are one without a second. Therefore, there is nothing beyond you. This entire cosmic manifestation is therefore nothing, not false, but is simply a temporary manifestation of your inconceivable energy. O my Lord, your name, form, and bodily features are expanded in countless forms. No one can determine exactly how many forms exist, yet you yourself in your incarnation as the learned scholar Kapiladev have analyzed the cosmic manifestation as containing 24 elements. Therefore, if one is interested in Sankhya philosophy, by which one can enumerate the different philosophical paths, different truths, he must hear it from you. Unfortunately, non-devotees simply count the different elements and remain ignorant of your actual form. I offer my repeated obeisances unto you. Okay, so there are more prayers, but I think it's time that we say Gaur Premanande. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Gokamamni Jai Gurudev, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Vancha Kalpathirvyascha, Kapasinu Vyavacha, Ditanam Pavanebhyo, Vaish.
Is 8 billion? 10 billion. 10 billion.